All right, what did you think of the team's response coming out of the second period? I know they were trailing, but it did seem like they started to build some momentum.
Yeah, I thought third period we were skating well. We had a lot of possession time and some pretty good chances. A couple broken sticks there in the third that um, seemed to hinder some good opportunities for us. But overall, pretty happy, really happy with the effort. A lot of first games for everybody, and um, you know, kind of a lucky goal for them in the third that kind of, you know, ended up sealing our fate. But overall, really happy with the guys' effort and how they made some adjustments, and their game got better as each period went on.
It did seem like a little bit of a herky-jerky kind of first and second, and then a lot of whistles too. And then that third got going a bit there. I think it was like 6 minutes with no whistle, but then the Twigs got into play. Did you feel the flow of the game was maybe a little weird early on?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of expected, one practice, travel out, get a new lineup together, trying to build some chemistry, and guys are trying to learn and make an impression. There's probably a little bit of nerves early on in the period, but you could feel it on the bench. Guys are getting a little bit more comfortable with who they're playing with and what we wanted to do structurally. And biggest thing is those guys, we want them to play to their strengths. We don't want them to play cautious, and they're here for a reason. They were invited here for a reason because they're all good hockey players and they all have certain attributes that they're good at. And I thought the third period was a pretty good indication of that.
Ivan had an impressive rookie face-off last year. What kind of standard did he set for himself, and how can he exceed it?
Well, I think, one, you saw, his pace and his skating out there today. I think it stood out for us for sure. And now it's just a matter of him sharpening up in some areas. But his standard's high. Our expectation of him is high. He had a lot of growth last year. But the work's not done. He's got to continue to go in some areas, like into the hard areas, being strong in front of the net. We know he's got some explosive skating, and he's strong on his feet coming out of the corners. Out there this afternoon, probably a little bit expecting some more execution tomorrow. But that's going to be standard for everybody that played tonight. Everyone's going to get better as the tournament goes on.
3 assists for Richie. Assess his play. Looked good on the power play, gelled with his line pretty well. Thought he skated very good. Thought he was good in the defensive zone. What was your take on his game today?
I was impressed with him. Big strong guy through the middle of the ice. I thought he was outstanding on the power play. Very deceptive on the goal. You see he comes downhill, freezes, gets a D-man to drop, goalie freezes, makes a nice little slip to the middle, and Poland puts it in an open net. So obviously his vision on the ice is very high, and you're going to see his confidence grow for a guy that didn't get a lot of training last summer. Jumped into a season late, had a nice production in the OHL, and obviously you can tell he put in the work this summer to give himself a shot.
Sean Behrens, it's his first rookie face-off, but he is maybe a more experienced or on the older side of some of the players in this tournament. What do you need to see from him being kind of a leader among the defensemen? Well,
he's a leader on the bench and in the locker room, and first rookie tournament for him, playing against some pro players, and he's going to have some growing pains, but he's a guy that's obviously handled himself extremely well on the big stage, and it's only going to be a matter of time before we see his game elevate and play to the standard that he expects as well.
Speaking of leadership, we spoke to Poulin about him elevating that role. That's something he wanted to do come in. Obviously, he's not a stranger to the sea. What do you think about his leadership? How did he do? Did he kind of exceed the expectations you guys were looking for him to set in this event?
Yeah, I thought, leadership-wise, you're always going to lean on the returning players, right? So Poland, Olausen, Ivan, Steinberg, Pavel, those are the guys that some of these, younger players are going to automatically look to, right? They've been through it. They've had a year of pro under their belt in the American Hockey League. They've got some NHL experience as well. So it's natural for the younger players to look up to those guys. They've been through it. So as a coaching staff, I'm comfortable and familiar with those guys to do the job as well behind the scenes and continue to to provide these guys with the same message that we're giving them as a coaching staff, and I thought Jason did a good job tonight.
Nikita Prishapov was a player that impressed at Dev Camp, and this is now maybe among the first live viewings of his play. What have you learned in just the short bursts that you've seen of him?
Well, I thought he, I thought he was pretty smart on the defensive side of things. Like even on the forecheck, he managed his depth as F3 and didn't get caught out of position too much. You know, same kind of category as some of these other guys where it's their first taste of a rookie camp or a rookie tournament. It's going to take a little bit of time for them to, you know, feel comfortable out on the ice and with their teammates. But I thought he did a good job. I thought, you know, his line had an identity all night, and yeah, he's a big, strong kid that can patrol the middle of the ice and be a little physical out there as well.
Good for me, Coach.
It's a tall task, but how can you help support a player like Oscar Olausson trying to bounce back from a season-ending injury?
Yeah, well, first I thought Oscar, you can tell he put the work in this offseason. He looks big, he looks strong, he looks quick. It doesn't look like he's tentative out on the ice, especially in the first period. I thought he went out to, you know, his points hard and made an emphasis on finishing his check and getting himself comfortable in some physical situations. You know, you like to see him shoot the puck, hit the post early. You know, scored a nice goal on a quick release off the faceoff. So you can see, like, you know, he wants to make an impact. He wants to leave a good impression, and I think tonight was a good start for him.